Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University.
Namaskar. As an assistant professor in the Department of English at Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University, today I am pleased to facilitate today's session on Francis Bacon. This unit I have taken from first year Bachelor of Arts FIBA Compulsory English Block 2 Unit number 8. Mainly in this session, we are going to discuss about biography of Francis Bacon. Francis Bacon as a writer, as an essayist, as a philosopher, he is known as a father of empiricism, right? What kind of essay he has written? According to him, what is the exact definition of an essay? What kinds of essay he has mentioned in his work? He has given mainly two types of essays, didactic essays also. What kind of figures of speech? Mainly two figures of speech he has used in his essays. First one is simile and second one is about litutus. In which way these figures of speech, simile and litutus, he has used in his work? That also we are going to discuss, and at the end of this session we are going to discuss about of study as a essay, and also we are going to discuss about mainly how essay is going to celebrate the aspects of man. And at the end of this session we are going to discuss about famous quotes written in of studies essays with their explanation. Okay, so let's dive into our session. Francis Bacon, a famous philosopher, statesman and writer from the Renaissance period. He has wrote an essay called Of Studies. This essay is like a treasure chest full of valuable ideas about why studying. We have to study, why we have to learn something, and why studying and learning are important and how they can benefit us in many ways. Bacon's writing is admired because it is very clear and easy to understand. Any common man understand his words. When you read his essay, you don't have to struggle with figure out with the meaning of that particular word. He don't use such kinds of very difficult words. He is trying to say his words are like a well-lit path that guides you through the forest of knowledge. In his time, Bacon believed strongly in using mainly observations and logical thinking to understand the world. Mainly, I also wanted to discuss one main thing about him, that he encouraged people to rely on evidence and reason rather than accepting the things blindly. This approach is called empiricism, empirical inquiry, and you can also say it is a rational thinking. Became very influential not only during his time but also in later centuries, and that is why he is called father of empiricism. Now let's take a closer look at what Bacon is saying in Of Studies. Firstly, when he talks about the, you can say, purpose and benefits of a study, scholarly pursuits, you can say, what does he means? So he exactly means that studying and learning are not just the things we do because we have to. They actually have a very important purpose. They can bring us many benefits. I can give you one example for this. By studying, we can gain knowledge, and after getting knowledge, that helps us to understand the world in a better way. This understanding can lead to new discoveries, to new innovations, and mainly we can find ourselves, true selves, and that improves our lives. When Bacon mentions the clearly of a thought and practical wisdom in his essay, mainly he is saying that his ideas are very clear, and he mainly believed in practical aspects and reasons. So he does not talk in the complicated language. He does not use very difficult words, or you can say fancy words just to impress, or just to you can say show off. Instead, he presents his ideas in a way that anyone can understand, and anyone can apply their perception in his or her life, that can actually be put into a practice in real life. Okay. Bacon's essay is a part of a larger collection called essays. This means that it is not just one essay. There is a one work essays, and this is a, you can say it is a series of writings where Bacon shares his thoughts on various topics. Each essay in the, you can say, collection, a different idea, or you can say there are so many themes are there, but all share Bacon's ideas. Mainly, when we are talking about characteristics of Bacon's writing, characteristic style of clear thinking and practical wisdom, overall, Bacon's Of Studies is a timeless piece of writing. So, it reminds us that studying and learning are not just chores we have to do, but they are valuable activities that enrich our life. Now, mainly Bacon emphasized on using evidence and reason to understand why we have to study, or why we have to learn, and why we have to understand the world continues to inspire people to seek knowledge and truth in their own lives. So, this is the main idea about him. Now, in early slide, we have discussed mainly his biography, right? Like in 1592, to celebrate the anniversary of a queen's coronation, and he wrote an entertaining speech in praise of knowledge. So, in first slide, we have mainly discussed about born on January 22 and in London in England, and at the age of 23, he became member of the House of Commons. During his you can say during his career as a counsel and statesman, Bacon often wrote for the court also, right? He wrote his first political memorandum too. Now, let's go to our second slide. In this slide, mainly we are going to discuss about how Francis Bacon has done to celebrate the anniversary of the Queen's coronation, and he wrote an entertaining speech inspired of knowledge. And even in 1907 marked Bacon's first publication, a collection of essays about politics. So, let's start our second slides with explanation. So, Francis Bacon was mainly born on January 22, 1561, that we have also discussed in first slide. When he was a teenager, he studied law at Trinity College. At the young age of 23, he became a member of the, you can say, House of Commons. At the age of 23, when he became a member of the House of Commons, which is a part of the British Parliament, throughout his career, Bacon worked as a lawyer also, and statements too. Mainly, Francis Bacon wrote documents for the court. You can say including his first political memorandum in 1584, and in 1592 he wrote a speech celebrating the Queen's coronation anniversary. So, in this speech, mainly Francis Bacon praising the importance of knowledge, why we have to study. In 1597, Bacon published his first collection of essays about politics. When he published his essays about politics, he became even more successful under King James I. But later in his life, he faced so many kinds of scandals that ended his career in politics. And he was accused of accepting bribes. And when he accused while serving as a Chief Justice of England and was, you can say, stripped of his honors. So, as a result, what happened? He was imprisoned in the Tower of London. When he was imprisoned in the Tower of London, apart from his political career, Bacon was also a philosopher and scientist. He is often called father of empiricism because I have already mentioned earlier that because of his belief in using observations and experimentation to understand the world, Bacon mainly developed a method now known as, you can say, Baconian method. Mainly he believes on reason and practical aspects to investigate natural science, and this approach laid the foundation for scientific method that we still use today. Despite his achievement, Francis Bacon's life was, you can say, cut short by bronchitis, and he passed away on April 9, 1626 at the age of 65. But when we see his contribution to philosophy, his contribution to science, his contribution to politics have left a lasting impact on the world in a very impressive manners. Now, our next slide is about how Francis Bacon has you can say, worked as a philosopher and as a, you can say, scientist also, because he mainly believed in practical aspects. He mainly believed in, you can say, reason. And why we have to study? We have to study on the basis of logic, right? We don't have to accept the things whatever it is. We have to use our mind with the practical aspects, with our logical aspects. Okay. Also, when he was a philosopher and scientist, he is also known as father of empiricism. Now, in the third slide, mainly we are going to discuss about what is an essay. Which kind of writing we can consider as an essay. So, by the perception of, or you can say according to Francis Bacon, what is an essay? So, an essay is a prose composition of a moderate length which aims to explain an idea, a theory, an impression or point of view. Now, let me give you a more explanation about an essay. So, an essay is indeed a type of prose composition that we can say that is typically a moderate length, right? It's not too lengthy. Its primary aim is to convey and explore ideas, theories and impressions, also points of view on a particular topic. You can also say that essays can vary widely in style, structure and content, but they generally share some common characteristics. What is an essay? What we consider as an essay? So, you can say they often begin with an introduction that present the topic as well as they provide some context, or you can say some background or information about a particular topic. This is followed by a body section where the main ideas are mainly, you can say, come around, or you can say main ideas are developed around and supported with the evidence. Mainly, I can give you examples or arguments. So finally, what is an essay? So the essay concludes with the summary or conclusion, or you can say that reinforces the main points and may offer some final thoughts on a particular idea or particular insights. One of the key features of an essay is it's mainly a focus on presenting a particular topic on logical argument, or you can say exploration of a topic too. This may involve analyzing a different perspective. Mainly when we are discussing about a particular topic or evaluating any particular thing, at that time how we have to evaluate evidence or providing personal reflection and interpretation, that is an essay. Additionally, essays often strives for clarity and conciseness in their expression. Mainly an essay aiming to communicate ideas effectively to the reader. Overall, essays mainly serve as a, you can say, valuable medium for expressing and essay serves as a valuable medium for expressing and exchanging ideas, contributing to intellectual discourse. And mainly you can say it is a fostering critical thinking and you can say reflection. So this is the thing that we have talked about, what is an essay, right? So whenever it is in a mainly a concise manner and it goes on mainly on a particular aspects. Now next slide is about kinds of essay, right? So what kind of essay Francis Bacon has used? So there are mainly two types of essay, formal essay and didactic essays. What are the main characteristics of these essays? So formal essays are in that kind of a formal essays, there are mainly intellectual discussion. They mainly builds up a formal and serious tone. The writing, it will be mainly academic writing, academic English, right? It won't be a normal or informal tone and cater to the mind. What about didactic essays? So didactic essays mainly aims to teach, to you can say in a way like, if we want to say something, any moral aspects to the person, so that kind of writing, it's called didactic essay, right? So aims to teach, lays out the value of knowledge in practical terms, and mainly didactic essays are full of wisdom. So when we talk about formal essay and intellectual discussion, so directly formal essays comes in our mind. It means having a conversation that mainly focused on deep and thoughtful topics. Instead of just chatting about everyday things and instead of regular aspects, in such kinds of formal essays, there are intellectual discussions involved talking about mainly, you can say, ideas, theories, important issues. Now, let's talk about what it means to build up a formal and serious tone. I have mentioned here, right? So what does it mean? So imagine you are writing or speaking in a way that very proper and respectful. You might use fancy words and sentences whenever you are writing that make your message sound important. Whenever we are informally we are talking, so we use informal tone, but when we are talking about formal things, so that's having a formal tone in all about. And when we say serious tone, it means you are treating the topic with a lot of seriousness and respect, as it's something. Seriousness, it means you have studied that topic in a very significant manner also, and not be taken lightly. It is a serious thing and you are going to discuss in a very serious manner. When we say something caters to the mind, what does it mean? It means it is designed to appeal to your intellect. And another thing it is about to your thinking ability, right? So, if you are reading any book or if you are listening any audiobook or you are listening any lecture that really makes you think deeply and consider different ideas, then you could say that it caters to your mind. Now you understand what does it mean caters to the mind? So it's like feeding your brain with nourishing food for thoughts, right? So putting it all together, when we talk about having an intellectual discussion, or you can say with a formal tone, or you can say a serious tone that caters to the mind, mainly we are describing a conversation or mainly a piece of writing that is all about discussing important topics with serious aspects, with respectful, with dignity and with mainly thoughtful way, with the goal of stimulating our minds and mainly encouraging our deep thinking and understanding. So this is about formal essay. Now, our next slide is about didactic essay, right? Didactic essays, mainly they are aims to teach, lays out the value of knowledge in practical terms, and it is full of wisdom. What does it mean didactic? Didactic means something that aims to teach. When you come across something didactic like a story or poem, what does it mean? It means it is trying to give you some knowledge or it tries to teach you a lesson. Something about that these works often talk about mainly the moral aspects, also the value of knowledge in practical terms. They are not just about fancy ideas or you can say abstract concepts, but they are mainly about things that you can actually use in your everyday life. So, when I say or when you read something didactic, it means you might learn about how to make a good decision, how to treat other people, how to treat other peoples in a proper manner, in a kindly manner, how to solve problems. So, didactic works are full of wisdom. It is mainly about manners, how you present yourself. They are like a wise old friend who shares their experience and their insights with you, right? And you can also learn a lot from them because mainly I can say that they have seen a lot, have valuable things to say. So, when you encounter something didactic, it means in particularly in literature. So, you have to remember that it's trying to teach you something useful, something practical and something wise. Okay. So, pay attention because whenever we are talking about didactic word, right? So, there might be some valuable lessons waiting for you to discover. Now, in our next two slides, I have given a descriptions of two figures of speech. First is a simile, second one is litotes. So, why I have taken these two figures of speech in our session? Because Francis Bacon has used the simile and litotes. This works in, why I have used these two figures of speech, simile and litotes in our session? Because Francis Bacon as an essayist, he has used these two figures of speech in his work. So, what is exactly a simile? What is exactly a litotes and how, right? How simile Francis Bacon has used in his work and how litotes, how we can find that litotus figures of speech in Francis Bacon work that we are going to discuss. So what does it mean, simile? A simile is a comparison between two things that are not alike, but they share some common qualities. It is like, you can say something, the words like or as, something else to make a point. For example, when someone says natural abilities are like natural plants, they need pruning by study. They are comparing natural abilities to plants. When we talk about similes, so even the abilities and plants, these two things are different, right? But they share the quality of needing care and improvements. So in this way, when we are going to discuss about simile, so this kinds of work like and as mainly we are using. Another example I give you, distilled books are like common distilled waters, flashy things. So here mainly the comparison is between books and distilled waters. We all know like that they are very different, books and distilled waters, but both are being compared, or you can say for being flashy things or superficial things, right? So these are the use of simile. How we have to use it in our things like simile, it means a started comparison between two fundamentally dissimilar things that have a certain qualities in. What is the example of a simile? Here, natural abilities are like natural plants. So, abilities and plants are different, but yet there is a comparison between these two things. For what? That they need pruning by study. Distilled books are like common distilled waters, right? Book and waters, these are the two things that are different, but there are comparison for flashy things, right? Now, what is litotus? So, litotus, it means it's a understatement in which a positive statement is expressed by negating its opposite. So, according to Francis Bacon, there are mainly three modes of studying: reading, observation and writing. In this essay, mainly we will explore each of these modes and how to understand their significance in pursuit of knowledge. Firstly, mainly Bacon emphasized on the importance of reading as a fundamental mode of study. When we talk about reading as a fundamental mode of study, he suggests that individuals should mainly engage in intensive reading and across various subjects to gain diverse perspective. So, if any person, he has vast reading, automatically he has a wide ideas about on any perception. One can explore the ideas and theories. So, mainly in this session what we have discussed, so Francis Bacon as an essayist, how Francis Bacon is known as father of empiricism, how Francis Bacon mainly you can say emphasize on logical aspect, on reason and practical aspects. And if any person or any material gives you false knowledge, then how you have to identify what is the truth. This is the main aim of study. Okay. Also, we have discussed in this session how to study, why study is important for any person, not as a literature student, not as a BA student, BCom student, but as a person. If we wanted to live our life with dignity and respect, so how study is important. We also discuss about two figures of speech, simile and litotus, how Bacon has used these two figures of speech in his works right? And in our next session, we are mainly going to discuss about modes of study. Also, we are going to discuss about this essay written by Francis Bacon of studies. We will discuss different quotes of him with their explanation. I hope you enjoyed this session on Francis Bacon. Thank you so much. Namaskar.
स्वाध्यायः परमः